If you care about real history and practical survival knowledge, not romanticized myths, you're in the right place. Before we go any further, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with the part of post-war survival history you want covered next. This channel exists for serious history buffs and survivalists who value documented, hard-earned knowledge, and subscribing ensures this research keeps coming. The first winter after World War II was not a celebration. Across Europe and parts of Asia, millions survived combat only to face starvation, exposure, disease, and total infrastructure collapse. Cities lay in ruins, supply chains were gone, and governments barely functioned. What kept people alive during that first winter was not heroism, but practical systems developed under desperation. These methods were recorded in diaries, relief reports, and post-war civil defense manuals, and many of them still work today. What you're about to hear is not theory. It's proven survival logic forged during one of history's harshest resets. In the winter of 1945 to 46, thousands died with food still in their homes because they underestimated cold exposure. Survivors learned quickly that maintaining body temperature was the first line of survival. People stripped abandoned buildings of doors, floorboards, and furniture to seal rooms and reduce heat loss. Families lived in one room for months, closing off unused spaces entirely. This still works today. If modern heating fails, choose one small room, seal windows with plastic cardboard or layered fabric, and block drafts aggressively. Body heat alone can raise temperatures in confined spaces. World War II survivors also layered clothing indoors, instead of trying to heat large areas, conserving fuel. Modern equivalents include thermal layers, sleeping bags used indoors, and reflective insulation behind heat sources. Post-war cities were fields of debris, but survivors treated ruins as warehouses. Bricks became stoves. Metal piping became cookware. Glass shards became cutting tools. Wood from bombed homes fueled fires for entire neighborhoods. Today, this mindset still applies during infrastructure collapse. Look at damaged structures as resource banks, not hazards alone. Scrap wood can be processed into fuel. Metal can be repurposed for cooking or heat reflectors. Survivors in Berlin documented cooperative scavenging groups rotating zones to avoid conflict, a lesson still valid for community resilience. Individual cooking wasted precious fuel. Entire apartment blocks pooled resources, cooking once daily for everyone. Large pots conserved heat, and shared meals prevented isolated starvation deaths. This remains effective in outages or disasters. Shared cooking means fewer fires, less fuel, and faster preparation. World War II relief reports show communal kitchens reduced mortality dramatically. Even today, during blackouts or fuel shortages, collective cooking remains one of the smartest strategies available. Without refrigeration, post-war civilians relied heavily on fermentation. Cabbage became sauerkraut. Potatoes were stored in pits insulated with straw and soil. Fermented foods provided vitamins that prevented disease during months without fresh produce. This method is still one of the most reliable off-grid food strategies. Simple fermentation requires salt, containers, and time. Root cellars can be recreated using buried bins or insulated sheds. Survivors didn't preserve food for flavor, but to prevent death from deficiency, a lesson modern preppers often overlook. New clothes were non-existent. Survivors patched garments repeatedly, reinforcing stress points and layering fabrics for insulation. Wool was prized above all else, even when damaged. This still matters. Learning basic sewing extends clothing life dramatically. Reinforcing knees, elbows and cuffs prevents heat loss. Layering thin garments traps heat better than single heavy layers. World War II winter survival depended on repair, not replacement. Candles, oil lamps and improvised lighting were rationed carefully. Survivors aligned sleep with daylight, conserving light sources while stabilizing morale. Today, this principle applies directly during power outages. Limit artificial light use, rely on task lighting instead of full-room illumination, and maintain routines. Diaries from post-war civilians show that predictable light schedules reduced panic and depression, an overlooked survival factor. Snow was melted carefully to avoid dehydration caused by mineral loss. Modern winter survival mirrors this exactly. Store water inside living spaces, insulate containers, and purify consistently. The post-war winter proved that water scarcity kills faster than hunger when systems fail. Currency lost value immediately. People traded skills, tools, and labour. A repaired coat was worth more than cash. Survivors with practical skills fared far better than those with savings. This lesson remains evergreen. Skills retain value when systems collapse. Learning repair, food preservation, or basic medical care makes you indispensable. WWII survivors didn't survive because they had money, but because they had usefulness. Perhaps the most overlooked survival trick was routine. Families maintained schedules for meals, chores and rest even when circumstances were brutal. This prevented despair and collapse. Modern survival psychology confirms this. Structure reduces stress hormones and improves decision-making. Survivors of the first post-war winter understood this instinctively. Survival is as mental as it is physical. These 9 survival lessons were not written in manuals. They were written in cold rooms, ruined streets, and hunger-filled winters. They still work because human needs haven't changed. If you value serious historical survival knowledge grounded in real experience, subscribe to the channel, share this video with fellow historians and survivalists, and comment with the post-war topic you want analysed next. This history matters, because one day it may stop being history.